My aunt has a house in AZ and just painted it a super dark color. I think it looks baddest next to all the other houses in her neighborhood. Was it a bad idea? Not a great idea for HVAC efficiency. Her electricity bill is gonna be high. With the summer forecast for Arizona to have at least 70 days above 100, yes. Hello, AZ resident here. Her electric bill is about to rocket. Considering the weather in AZ, yeah, I think it was a bad idea. I've been seeing an enormous amount of new builds, residential and commercial, going all black. And it looks awesome, don't get me wrong. It's just wildly inefficient. I'm sure insulation helps to a degree, but I bet there is a notable impact on the electric bill in the summer. Depends if it balances out with a cold winter where the darker color benefits you. I live in Ohio though. You live in Arizona. Not an expert. Don't slip a disc to shit on me, I'm just spitballing here. This is Reddit. Some PhD will come up here and prove me wrong. But in general, black paint not great ho. I hope she has money, because her electricity bills are going to be higher if she's one of those snowbirds and only occupies the house in the winter. It's probably fine. But I hope she's not using the house in the summer, cause it's gonna either be hot or expensive. Had idea I. She'll be burning electricity every warm day to compensate for this. It's not a prudent decision at all. Does your aunt have any understanding about the relationship between sunlight and house color? In sunny climates, darker is worse. Her neighbors probably think she's nuts. I'm honestly curious if the solar production will offset the additional electricity cost. It will be hotter, yes, but that translates to more AC consumption. However, if her AC works too hard it will die, making it worse and adding more cost. In general, unless the house is specifically designed to operate like this, it will add more heat to the home. It's a classic grade school experiment. Paint boxes various colors and measure the temperature against the ambient. White high albedo will be cooler than black low albedo. There are cases where something white can be lower than ambient temperature. There are specific paints meant to reflect more infrared. Once summer is over, come back here to let us know if the dark colors affected the indoor temp much. I'm curious to know. The paint color won't affect the internal temp as much as people claim. If she has good insulation and good windows, that will be fine. What sucks is how quickly the sun bleaches colors in AZ. By the end of the summer it will have faded considerably, and could look like crap in 5 years if not touched up regularly. I say could because I'm seeing more and more dark colored houses in AZ like all black and super dark navy, and a few of them seem to be holding up okay. Does she like it? Does it break any HOA guidelines? I used to live in the Phoenix area, 2-story house, and the AC couldn't keep the downstairs below 78 degrees, meanwhile the upstairs was 90. I had to complement the central air with a window unit upstairs. To make my house cool enough to not get heat stroke indoors, my electric bill skyrocketed to $550 a month, and that was 10 years ago. This was a light tannish yellowish house. Dirt worshiper colors. Dark colored houses are the worst idea possible. Southern Arizona is literally hell for at least 5 months of the year. Convince your aunt to paint the house white, put it up for sale, and move somewhere that water doesn't have to be piped in from 2 states away. What color is the roof? Edit. If there are truly solar panels all over the roof, then they will be absorbing the sun as designed. I doubt the color of the walls will matter too much if solar panels are helping with cooling costs. Sunshades on east and west facing windows could help. If she likes it, then that's what matters. She can always repaint if it becomes an issue. Source: lived in Tucson. Dark colors don't mean greater heat in every circumstance. Desert nomads wear dark robes, and there's some serious research showing that they are not any hotter inside even if the surface is, and why.https. Of course the same effect doesn't necessarily apply to houses. Following the robe analogy, maybe if there were hollow spaces inside the walls, vented top and bottom to allow convection to pull cool air in and send hot air out the top? Not how most houses are designed, I don't think. But I'd look for some research before assuming that it's gonna be an oven. I live in Phoenix, and I hate overgeneralizing this entire state, so I'll ask, where in AZ? Only the southern third is a really brutal desert. Up north is much cooler, and they are not plagued with the beige with terracotta roofs Mediterranean-style standard that's been forced onto us for like 50 years now. Anyway, my experience here has taught me that on a 120-day, there are way more important things to consider before you worry about wall color. One being shade. Having a south-facing, unshaded wall can make an entire room pretty miserable in the summer. 2. Wall construction. Block or brick remains cooler and insulates better, so outside heat absorption isn't as important. So, would a room in a house with an unshaded south-facing white beige exterior wall be cooler than one with a dark wall? Yes, most likely. Will it be enough of a difference to matter? Probably not. Both rooms will be hot, and your AC will be blasting regardless. So the real question is this: which house looks prettier? D. As someone who's been in the construction industry for a few years, especially in high heat areas like AZ, I'll toss in my 2 cents. It's common knowledge darker colors absorb more heat, which seems counterintuitive in desert regions. But let's not overlook potential mitigating factors: high-grade insulation, radiant barriers in the attic, quality HVAC systems, and perhaps some high-reflectivity paint could combat the heat gain to some extent. Of course, that's assuming these measures were taken. Energy efficiency becomes a whole science on its own in these environments. The aesthetic choice is bold, maybe even commendable for its daring. But without knowing the specifics of the energy-saving features implemented, it's hard to forecast just how much that color choice will truly tax her utility bill. Hopefully, she's invested in those technologies, or it may indeed be an expensive lesson in form over function. Only time, and perhaps a few searing summers, will tell. All these folks clowning on your aunt for having a dark color house. But the roof takes 80 of the sun. Look at the roofs of most PHX houses. Not saying it's a great idea to have a dark house, just that it probably won't be the energy bill killer it could be without those panels up on the roof. Don't worry too much about it, the sun will bleach that color away in less than 2 years. This is another reason why nobody else does that. Somebody mentioned Albuquerque. They built a blood bank building there decades ago and thought it would be cool to paint it bright red. It was a not so lovely color of pale pink in no time. Whoa! Exclamation! If the house is well insulated, the exterior color will have little effect on controlling the interior environment. It also depends upon what part of AZ. For example, northern AZ has a much cooler climate than the Phoenix Valley and locations close to the California desert. Higher elevations also are significantly cooler. I have friends that visit Tombstone, huge Old West history buffs. That town is roughly 4,500 feet above sea level. The difference in temperature between there and Tucson can be 20 to 30 degrees during the day.